what's up? We're in the next part. Please go check out the previous part to gauge your bearings. Just briefly, a recap on the previous part. I was speaking in the previous part about how it is that, what do you call this? Wickedness in men, is self-accountable. They are accountable for their own source, for their own wickedness. However, women can significantly decrease the chances of a man's survivability or men's survivability if they're evil. I spoke about how it is that in the Bible it is written that an immoral woman or immoral women are like rottenness in the bones of a man, that women can essentially make or break men. I spoke about how it is that men are a lot more kind of barbaric. I'm sorry to have to use that terminology, but what I wanted to say is but they are dauntless, they're fearless, they are a lot more experimental with things in this world in a way that makes them essentially the recipients of higher premiums in insurance policies because of the fact that they tend to be that much less careful with their own lives, and that the Lord created Eve for Adam to essentially stay that or brittle it, halve it, create some kind of balance, like to make it less intense so that the men are given a grander shot of surviving their ecosystem due to the great influential power of women's whatever they're giving, whatever it is that they're oozing, that orb of female energy or spirit or whatever that God has put in women. It has got power to stay men from essentially finishing themselves off in their dauntlessness. Do you understand what I'm saying? I did, however, say that however, the very opposite is also unfortunately true, in the sense that if a woman is nasty, evil, she can make an already dauntless man even more dauntless. She can cause an already careless man to be more careless. She can devastate an already devastated man. They can finish men off. I also spoke about how the Proverbs 7 woman is a Proverbs 7 or Proverbs 9, who it is written about that her feet go down to death. They lead men to hell. Men tend to have a shorter lifespan than women for the reasons I've highlighted above. They're a lot more dauntless, fearless. They are less careful with their lives. Type establishment thing. So they die first before us. Largely, they tend to pass away first. That's like a whole thing, right? I believe the Lord did that also because women are a lot more nurturing than men, and so therefore we're far better able to take care of children should the man pass away. Type establishment thing. There are a myriad of reasons why it is that the Lord probably made it such that men have a shorter lifespan than women. But one of the biggest reasons that contribute to it is because they're dauntless, they are fearless, they do things a lot more dangerously than us. Do you understand? Very well. And I spoke about how it is, however, that an immoral woman can send men to hell, finish themselves off. But I did also say that in isolation, nobody operates. There is nobody that is in a little silo just running these streets, the show, unabated by the effects of every other ecosystematic input. Like, everybody is responsible for everybody, like it or not. Individualism is totally not a thing. It can never work. No single society has gotten to anywhere where it is that it got with just people thinking for themselves. It's always been teamwork. So we are literally as strong as our weakest links. Is that basic? So women, given that you were created for Adam, you are to be his helper suitable. That, however, does not mean that in your own individual capacity, it does not mean that men in their own individual capacity can survive without you. They can't. And similarly too, you can't survive without them. So when you destroy men, you don't get to still continue to be a going concern that is thriving. Any society that destroys any single demographic, any single gender, is destroyed. Any society that withers away at the masculinity, the manhood of men, will start to fall apart. The fabric of that society will start to be decimated. Look at what's going on in America. And any society that comprehensively disregards the importance of the women's ability to be helper suitables will also disintegrate. Look at much of the Middle East and how unstable those societies are, where there is no hegemony governmentally that is, I guess, protecting of both genders. The structures are somewhat unstable. Stuff starts to fall apart. The balance of rightful respect and treatment of women as they are being headed by men who are also responsible creates a stable society that is thriving. But when then women get super Cruella de Vil in a country, honey, it's only a matter of time before the country's destroyed, because you are influential. Unfortunately, when you are evil, when you're good or evil, you are influential over men. And so it is unfortunate when that influentialism is happening from a vantage point when the woman is wicked. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are influential to chart the decisions of a man's, future, a man's life. You are influential to help a man decide outcomes. You can run companies from behind the scenes. You can run countries from behind the scenes, women. You can, etc. You get my point. And when you are this nefarious, diabolical, gorgonic, Medusa-like, Delilic, Jezebelian rando, honey, you are literally en route destroying a whole country. You are destroying South Africa. You are like Jezebel with Ahab. You are destroying a nation when you destroy men. But I also spoke about how it is that these men are not independent of their own autonomous thought in and of themselves. They gotta, do you understand, account for their own actions. Plus, they are the ones that have been given authority by God to lead. They're the ones that have been given authority by God to essentially run even us. So, for those reasons, given that they're the ones that sign on the dotted line, that ratify decisions, that approve that which has already been tabled, they don't get to rock up before God and be like, this woman ruined my life. No, shut up. Nobody ruined your life but you, because you allowed a filthy woman to lead you astray. The Proverbs are littered with advice or counsel to men to avoid the immoral woman because her outcomes are horrible. The Proverbs are also littered with advice to rather, always enjoy the breast of the wife of your youth. Love a righteous woman, otherwise you'll end up living on the corner of a roof because she's contentious, or she's going to be like a dripping tap on a rainy day, or you're going to want to live in a desert, or there's going to be rottenness in your bones. The scriptures make it clear. Avoid the bad woman, but then seek out the good one, right? And when then you find her, on that day you are blessed, because it's written in God's word, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I then went on to explain how it is that these relationships, these women, these immoral women that destroy men don't always necessarily have to come in the fashion of wife or girlfriend, essentially romantic prospect. Sometimes they come in the person of moms, female cousins, aunts, essentially women in their lives that help men make horrible decisions. And when then a man is encircled by women that are telling him make the wrong decision where anything is concerned, and there's only one woman that's trying to counsel him differently, she's going to be outnumbered. She's going to be drowned by the influence of all these other female voices coming from all over the show. She's going to be drowned by them. So it appears to not matter how much I tried to counsel my ex differently, and it also appears to not matter how much I'm still trying to get them to get him to flee from the flames of hell, because at the end of the day, there is all this female support of him to the contrary that's helping him stay maintained in a grain of wickedness, and it's sending him straight to hell. They will all go to hell eventually. Her feet go down to Sheol, but understand, ultimately she will join him later. Because like I said, they tend to die first type establishment thing. So, seeing as everybody is on this like bandwagon headed to the flames of hell merrily with one another, with men landing therein first, frying like some oil in a frying pan. Seeing as they all headed in that general trajectory, I then saw it fit to do this particular message to put it out there that women, I'm sorry, I apologize. You don't operate in a silo. You are not in one little cubicle in an office where nobody gets to hear you and the headphones that are inside your ear. You are part of a unit that is collectively working together to mobilize that unit. And when you destroy individual parts inside that unit, honey, you destroy you. You destroy your country. Look at your South Africa. Literally pan your heads left and right and discover the gender-based violence epidemic that we have in the country. We keep on getting slapped silly by these dingy males because you are doing odd stuff. Let's look, for instance, at the case of Tshegofatso Pule. Tshegofatso Pule. Do you understand? That woman got killed by boyfriend Ntutugo Shoba because she was a side piece. I already spoke about that story some time ago. Tshegofatso was not the best of women. She was a side piece. Ntutugo, not the best of men. Gender-based violence rando. However, when women support men in evil acts against other women, when you stand in concert with a man because he's my brother, he's my uncle, he's my dad, when you are on some blood is thicker than water, I will always support my brother, even though my brother's wrong. Do you understand? You're gonna end up like Tshegofatso Pule, because let's rewind. Go back a couple of steps with Tshegofatso's case. Guess whose niece she was? She was the niece of the advocate of Sandile Mantwe, who killed Karabo Mokoena. And that man ended up regretting advocating for Sandile Mantwe when Ntutugo killed his niece. That man was supported, pom-poms and everything, by Tshegofatso during the time of Karabo Mokwena's case. It's my uncle. Blood is thicker than water. I will always stand with my uncle at the expense of unfortunate Karabo Mokoena until she became the victim of Ntutugo Shop. So if Tsegofatso and all the women in Tsegofatso's family were like, uncle, you can't stand nalarai rubbish of a man. Usandil, let somebody else take the case. Don't let this be about money, boy, please. Let go. Do not support this murderer of our women. His wife was supposed to stand. His daughters, his nieces were supposed to stand. Instead, Bam support deal. And then a couple of years down the line, 2 or 3, Tsegofatso was actually found hanging 8 months pregnant on a tree. Somewhere. Yeah, having been murdered by a man. A similar case, a similar story. That's what's good to that of Karabo Mokoena. But like at the time of Karabo Mokwena's case being going through the trial and everything, being arbitrated during the arbitration of Karabo's case. That's what's good. Tsegofatso was actually enjoying the fruits of having a wealthy uncle that is actually an advocate. And really and truly, I will stand with my uncle no matter what until she became the victim of a man just like Sandile Manswe. You don't operate in a silo, females. That's what I'm getting at. When you don't stand for what is right, for what you know deep down inside your core is right, you will one day end up being a victim. So, female family members of my ex-boyfriend, your little bugger is out here rolling around with an axe, trying to chop up my body into multiple pieces like Karabo was chopped up into multiple pieces and then burnt. He's trying to make out of me my name's sake. Karabo Mokwe. A man that I never imagined would ever kill me is thoroughly investing in a whole bunch of death spells because he's trying to eradicate my life. And he is being stood for by Usis Wakona. He is being stood for by my cousin Wakona. He is being stood for by Uma Wakona, like Papa. The women in his life are on some nyadi stika nyanyota. Blood is thicker than water for real. Whoa. Like the dude has a sister, the dude has a mom, he has female cousins, he has got aunties, and they are all like for real. Yeah, until one day your baby sister is chopped up into 10,000 pieces by some random like buffoon, by some animal, some beastly monstrosity that saw it fit to essentially end her because how dare you leave me? You were the best woman I was ever with, and you are not going to get out of this relationship but for in a casket until somebody decides to make out of her Juliet when he's Romeo. Yeah, until somebody else makes a decision to do that to his own daughter or his own sister or his own female cousin. That's when then, stuff starts to get nice and real. So females, I am trying to help you understand at the present moment that this thing of you standing naladi rubbish of men, all of these random nasty men, understand please, I am not making a ubiquitous statement against all men. Don't mistake me for someone who's zonda matota wonking. It's not all of them. I know it's not all of them. I understand that it's only a component of them, but I do live in a country that is the worst one to live in as a woman. South Africa has got a problem with gender-based violence. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So therefore, I get to raise these as issues. And when you live in the same backyard as one of the mutineers against the country's gender statistics, femicide statistics, when you live in the backyard of a man that's actively abusing a woman to the end of her life, you better pule yourself. Essentially be the pule that if she could turn back the hands of time and make like R. Kelly, she would say to her uncle, I love you, but what you're doing is wrong. Don't stand with Sandile. Don't advocate for him, please. You're adding insult to the country's injuries. Do not let our family be associated with this, please. Let there not be one among us or Caesar along the agenda of murderers of women, of femicidal beasts, of rapists. Do not stand for a man on Jenna. You're an advocate. There are so many clients you can take on. Not this one. Not this one. You can't successfully be the husband of a woman and take out the case Kasandile Manswe without offending your wife and without your wife being a hypocrite when she doesn't stand up against it. One day it's going to be her daughter, yo. One day it's going to be her. One day it's going to be her nieces, her nephews, her female cousins. So properly, I am out here trying to put it out there to Basadi that your, never mind complacency, but actual implicitness alongside commission of atrocities against women that your brothers and your uncles and your dads and your etc., your male cousins have afflicted has contributed to the epidemic against even you in the country. It has contributed to the epidemic against females at large in the country. We live in the worst nation to live in for women. Like, you know what this is similar to? The world hates Israel. Unfortunately, they're God's chosen people. Those October 7th attacks by Hamas in the kibbutz and at the music festival, etc. Yeah, that got a whole bunch of women sexually ravaged. The way that the United Nations was so mum on the matter of the sex crimes committed when Amnesty International proclaimed rape as a crime against humanity at some point because of war crimes committed in that Bosnia/Herzegovina war in the 90s. So international bodies admit or confess that rape is a crime against humanity when it is used as a weapon of war. And yet Hamas militants raped women and the United Nations was mum. UN women was mum because of their anti-Israel stance and the pro-Palestinian stance and their politics. They refused to talk about it until ultimately a couple of women rose up and raised it, lamented, spoke about the just egregious atrocities committed against women in this capacity, some of whom were even shot multiple times in their genitalia after being raped. It had to be raised on a separate complaint tribunal to say, but why aren't you raising this as an issue? UN women, what is wrong with you? United Nations women, what is wrong with you? South African women at this point feel to me like UN women. You feel like United Nations women. Where it is that, I guess, precisely because I'm a Christian, or precisely because certain women, you've got a bone to pick with them or you're competitive, you don't rightly address gender-based violence against them when you don't agree with their politics or their rhetoric, their ideology, their religion, their dogma. When you don't agree with their dogma, you are thoroughly happy to allow the proliferation of crimes that, if at all they were committed in your backyard, you would be the first one to go to Twitter and trend some stuff. You are hypocrites, women. You can't like Papa. South Africa is made up of family units. It's what I'm getting at. All these rapists, all of these murderers, all of these psychopaths, they come from families. And it is the women that belong to these families that I'm addressing right now. You are exacerbating the problem. In the spirit of blood is thicker than water. This here is my uncle, my cousin. This here is my brother. I don't care. Don't nobody care. Nobody gives a rat's behind. Why? Because at the end of the day, they are contributing to an epidemic in the nation. The country is reeling. You don't operate in a silo. Do you understand what I'm saying? You directly influence the next structure next to you. You cannot imagine that you can protect your rapist brother or your murderer brother and in and of yourself be safe, and also not be contributing to the destruction of a country. So unless you are on some coup strategy, unless you're all about a hostile takeover, a state capture, unless you're actively trying to replace the South African structure and fiber and fabric of the society that we live in, on that day you are being entitled and arrogant, naive, alongside decidedly ignorant, to disregard this problem because it's chilling inside your own cousin. I have a cousin back in the day, and I was somewhat complicit in the matter. Why? Because we only gossiped it with my female cousins, right? About how it is that our cousin Opizi this is not right. What is going on? But did we ever raise it with him? No. We stood by that guy, and we didn't stand by him in the sense of supporting him per se, but we also did not raise it. We did not raise it. His mother never called him out on it. Upon finding out that he's busy beating up Imediakona, we just like, Papa, we left it. We left it. That was before I got born again. And that was also before I became that victim. That was before I became a woman that men are out trying to slap silly. That was like in 2004, 5, 6, 7. Still all those early days. The situation has only ever gotten worse today. It's only ever gotten worse in Namhlanje. When women stand with abusive men, they destroy the country. However, women, you've got a job. You are supposed to be helper suitables for men. You are supposed to help them along to basically make decisions. You are supposed to buy your tears, stay their aggression. And when you are not doing that, you are contributing to a climate of Neanderthal, like barbaric, just incontinent, swinging on a chandelier like Sia. I'm gonna swing on a chandelier type men. You are creating a society of crazy men who, by positive reinforcement, have been made to believe that their deeds are okay. And you have also caused them to grow in entitlement. You have caused them to callous in their wickedness, and are also therefore responsible for, listen to this, their eternal condemnation. You have worsened the status of an individual that I have been working tooth and nail to snatch even from the flames of hell. And it is not working because there are literally way too many nasty females helping him rather go to hell. And all my feats and my endeavors to snatch him out are not working I am no longer as influential as I used to be back in the day because you are helping him maintain in wickedness. You are trying to protect Untutugo Shoba and Sandile Manswe in the making. When it is your own brother that has out here butchered a woman's body, put it into multiple pieces, then the situation gets real, doesn't it? Yeah, when it's come home. But you are irresponsible women when you stand with a person like that. I often find it so very puzzling. These family members that have got these gangster relatives that are on trial for killing women or children or a house break-in where it is that an entire family was killed. Thoroughly answer, but my son would never do that. They still hold fast to the son's innocence when there is so much overwhelming evidence against him. It's like, Mom, keep quiet and mourn the loss of a son. Cry over the atrocities of the son. Make it clear that you don't approve. That while you might support him throughout the trial to endure the consequences of his actions, you certainly don't agree with what he did. That is what a responsible mom with a murderous son looks like. Not when they are standing with the murderous son on some, my son didn't do it. You are adding insult to the injuries of the family of the victims, especially when the evidence against your child is ramping up, heaped up to the heavens. You, indeed as a mother, owe him some kind of support. On some, I'll be there for you, I'll visit you in jail, my son, but why did you do what you did? Why did you do it? What you did was wrong. When you tell a person they're wrong, when you counsel a person that what they did was wrong, you inspire repentance. You inspire a contrite spirit. You make them recognize that you don't approve. But you see, operant conditioning is a whole thing. Negative and positive reinforcement. When you keep on reinforcing behavior, when you keep on rewarding wicked behavior, you positively reinforce it. You make them feel like there's nothing wrong with it. So essentially this man has been socially conditioned to imagine that he's in good stead. He's alright when he is headed, never mind, to hell. But en route there, he's trying to kill a saint. So his eternal condemnation is going to be that much more exquisite. And this here has been aided along and abetted by female family members, both on his side and mine. I shall not blame only his side of the family. That's what's good. But I hold on to ex-girlfriend that thing forever and a day. And it's like, Baga man, you done lost me, fine. We get it, good, but like, move on. You've made out of me an idol. And I'm 5 seconds away from rejecting the living daylights out of you until you kill yourself. However, I don't want you to go to hell. Like, I can't hate you that much. Like, proper. And besides, if I did hate you that much, I probably would not even be qualified to be a saint. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you hate your brother, then you can't hate your father who's in heaven. Is that basic? So to hate you would be to disqualify myself as a Christian. I can't. However, 052. That's what I'm getting at. 052. Like that Baga Olewako MTN, I ended up abhorring him because he kept on slapping me, got a death spell. I was never even with him, so you're not lau palawen. He was more disrespectful than you because he didn't even know me like that. He didn't know me like that. And he lambasted me with sorcery. The only reason why you are lingered in slightly more mercy than him is because I knew you for a season. And I remember a time when you were much better. Boy, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about you anymore. I'm done. I was done 13 years ago when we broke up. I was done then. I was thoroughly done, literally, all the way back then. God, you have been helped along. But I want to begin. And now, on some females in South Africa, recognize this. Where it is that you are helping men mess up the country. I'm sorry. That's the reason why we've got gender-based violence. It's because female family members and friends and associates and colleagues of these murderous psychopaths that ultimately one day shock the country because they are being covered in the news media as murderers of some females. You are participating in the mutiny against those statistics. Against us all. In creating, those statistics. You want me to marry? You are gonna get hurt. You are going to burst. Lo Barsa jaga Coca-Cola bottle in the refrigerator, deep freezer that you've left. Lo Barsa, you are going to burst into flames. Because this time around, Nitinte Imbogoto that belongs to Jesu Christ, Nazareta. I cannot be touched. I am more than a conqueror. Do you understand? Lo lemal. So, frankly, stay your hands from continuing in this wickedness. You have destroyed the country sufficiently. It is now time for people to get healing. Le bodile, mamelang. Listen up, okay? This whole insistence on bringing great women together with some of the most filthy, dastardly buffoons in these streets is killing the good girls. Y'all need to get that. You are murdering Abo Tekin. when you put women together, when you put excellent women together with worthless men, these men are not blind, they're not deaf, they're not dumb. They know they're not worthy. Bayazi, utabafaneli, these chicks, they know they don't suit these women. And so there will be inspired in them all of these insecurities, etc. And so ultimately, like I said, murder, if not murder, or on a lighter note, beatings. But I didn't even know why I called it light because it's still extreme. You get my point. A woman is going to get abused. On a lighter note, indeed, passive aggression, just mean-spiritedness attitude, you know? Yeah, that's what happens when a man does not suit a woman. When he comes in kakorobela by some other way, hopping over the fence like he's the devil or something, weekends are Satan. That's what's good. Yeah, a man that comes into the life of a woman by some shoddy, underhanded fashion and does not suit that lady because she is literally 10,000 miles, kilometers above his league, you are putting that woman in harm's way. And moms, we understand. We totally get it. You want your sons to marry the best of girls, but when you know your son is a shoddy little criminal, when you know your son is a no-brainer that has no ambition, when you know your son doesn't want to do anything right by himself, and then you insist on keeping a woman in your son's life that tried and failed and moved on. She tried to be a helper suitable to him, and he just like passed it up. Essentially was like, no thank you, I'll be good. Yeah. And then you use witchcraft to try and force the poor chicken to come back and be with your son. And then you hold your son hostage to that woman through that sorcery. And then you keep on rapping onto your son about how it is that minangtanda ukarabo. When you keep on rapping onto your son that me, I like lerato, I like tolofel. And so therefore you make it impossible for the son to move on from a woman that left him because all along you were not in my league. You are putting this woman in harm's way. You are literally putting her in a position to one day have your son rock up at her office building. That's what's good. Atwaris tunya, baga, go to her desk, boo, and unleash a live round, not even caring that he killed her in public. When I was working at MTN, there was this one colored woman that got murdered by boyfriend Yakona. She left him and he went to her apartment, and because the security guards were used to him, they opened for him. So fast forward hour and a half later, she was chopped up into multiple pieces with an axe. That guy went into her apartment with an axe. He was intending on killing her, and the security guards opened for him. She didn't make it to work on Monday. Yeah. After that story, I was so shook. I went and I spoke to my boyfriend. I was like, there's a woman at my offices that was killed. It's so sad. She was young and upcoming. She was an attorney. She used to work for legal and regulatory. She was only like, I think 28 or 29 or something. Yeah. And she just got massacred just like that easily. Wabulalwa. Omuyumtan. That's what's good. And I said to my ex, a woman in my offices has been killed. And I looked at him because something in me had a sense of foreboding about my ex. I've always had it. I was like, would you ever do that to me if I left you? And he looked at me like I was bizarre and crazy. Because how dare you accuse me, Karabo, of such a heinous act as that? Yeah, well, fast forward all these years down the line, is he not trying to come to my apartment with an axe to finish me off? Because I left him. My gut feeling back then was right. That's what's good. Why would a man try to kill a woman like that? It's because he was never in her league. He never made sense for her. In the same way that woman from legal and regulatory in the office, Nasa Tonele, the boyfriend that she was with, they were not, he was probably substandard to her in the worst way. And so he ended up killing her. Women, you sacrifice yourselves at the altar of a jealous ex-boyfriend. Do you understand? When you date down, when you allow yourself to be with a man, because you're just in a rashuk jola and you just want to walk down the aisle, anything at all, to be in a relationship to a point where you keep on trying to panel beat a man. You go into a relationship and you try to fix him. You keep on knocking nails into a situation. Walukisa, when you're patchworking, you're on that sellotape tip, always breaking apart sellotape to patch together a man, keeping him together like freaking Humpty Dumpty, proper. Even the horseman couldn't put him back together again, and yet you're trying. So I mean, when you finally leave Humpty is gonna kill you. You need to stop downgrading yourselves. Manijola. You need to seek the Lord's face for a husband that's going to be appropriate for you, not a man that's going to be insecure. A ravenous sloth. Do you understand? Sala atame, waiting for food to be landed in his mouth because he does not want to prepare it for himself. A man like that you're trying to patch together, like I said, sticky tape, putting him together like Humpty Dumpty. A man of that nature he will be passive aggressive in the relationship. He will talk down to you. He will be insecure in your climate. And when you leave, he will never do better because you're the one that settles for him. Other women aren't prepared to do that. So he will always pendulum back to you and then kill you. Date that down. That's why I wish I'd never dated my ex, because I was always sellotape. Do you understand? Patchworker. And his family loved me for that. I put a man in a bunch that appeared to be an unfixable Humpty Dumpty. And now uhamti wakona, and like proper, can't nobody put him back together again, and he feels like he's lost without a woman. He has made out of a woman an idol, and his family members are helping him. His family members by him Caesar, still to this day. And now, all these years down the line, he has graduated to murder because he got himself involved in the occult, messed up with his character, got super drunk on the supply of Satanic, and so now he's murderous. He is homicidal. Uzitshele ukuthi he will die once I'm dead. He wants me to commit suicide high and low, and he keeps on doing death spells of that nature. These things are ramping up in that wickedness. His family are gonna bury him, Lankudra. He's going to be buried one of these days because of this. However, in the run-up to him ending up in the abyss, I would have tried to snatch him out from the flames, to basically seize him, stay him from being maintained in the status of an idolater of me. I have tried to stay him from worshipping me because I am thoroughly rejecting him for good reason. And because I'm his God, because he's made me his God, he will die. Uzoshona. But who will have sent him to Sheol, hitting the ground running? The mother, the sister, the cousins, the etc. Abantu bamsizayo ngemithi, even helping him along with sorcery. That, like, proper. That is exactly what happens when you date. That's why you need to give your lives to Jesus Christ, guys, so that you will wait on him for a husband and stop settling. I tried to settle with the guy wako America, substandard, shoddy in comparison to me. Look at how much sense I'm right now. Still to this day, he's still busy with me. Some dude from MTN from back in the day. Now let downgrade. Now accommodate. I've been doing that. I finally stopped after I don't know how many years. I finally stopped taking just anything in my stride. But unfortunately, moms and sisters and female cousins, abatanda abo, abantwana babo, they love their sons. They love their cousins, their brothers. They always want the best women for them. They always want the best women for these bad men. Like, when you're a mother, you know Hlongwane, you know your son. When you're a sister, you know what your brother's like. When you're a cousin, you know what your cousin's like. When you're an auntie, you know what your nephew's like. You know. And so when you insist that the best girl in the village ends up with that random, you are literally putting a woman in harm's way. You are killing an innocent woman at the hands of your shoddy son that won't get his own act together. He is a man. He is supposed to lead. He is supposed to be autonomous in his decision-making capacity. He is supposed to do better. But if he decides to band together with a man cave that's going to tell him wicked ideas, and on top of that, lack ambition, on top of that, decimate his future, on top of that, hit the ground running, spreading himself like a green laurel tree in wickedness in these streets, drain the occult, ayotwala, do all these ebato. He did it to himself. And then over and above men's inherent proclivity towards self-destruction, then now he's helped along in that agenda by women. When there are no regulating forces of females in the lives of men, they will do that which men would have done if women were never created. Just, I can't really say self-destroy, but they would have been a lot less, they would have been too dauntless. They would have just bashed their heads against cave walls at their own peril. They would have fought each other unto death. They would have done gladiator matches. It would have been like Fight Club, yeah, Brad Pitt, just for a lifestyle. They would have killed each other off. They would have easily committed murder. Women are regulating to men. It's what I'm trying to explain to you. But the opposite is also true. They can destroy them. And South Africa is being destroyed by women and men, the women of which have helped men stay evil. When I was just 20, not even 20, I was like, yes, like I was young, like 18. When I was 18, I was still in high school, I remember. 18 or, not 17, 18. When I was 18 years old, I remember going, like we had gone partying the night before. And then my cousin had a boyfriend. My cousin's friend had a boyfriend that lived at a particular house. And we slept at that house overnight, right? My cousin was with her boyfriend. No, not my cousin. My cousin was alone. I was alone. However, this chick was with her boyfriend, and they were sleeping over at this guy's house. We all slept on the couches and everything at this guy's house, right? The next morning, we get woken up by a rapping mom. Like a mother is like, oh, she's crying. My house is not a gent's. My house is not a gent's. My house is not a gent. She's basically complaining that my house is not a gentleman's house. It's not a brothel. It's not a place where you can just bring girls and sleep with them. She was lamenting about the girls that she found in her house in the morning. Where was she all night? Don't nobody know. Okay? So she's complaining that her house is not a place where guys must just bring girls and do their business with them. And we all start to get all afraid and stuff of this woman rapping on. So as she's busy, like screaming and shouting at everybody about how it is that her house is not a brothel, we're looking at her and our eyes are just like, we're scared as the girls on some, Like, we're scared. We've got these innocent looks in our eyes, and we're scared of her speaking because a mom is complaining out here in these streets. Anyway, whatever, like I told you, I'm 18 years old at this point, right? And I'm just looking at this woman with these innocent eyes on some, I'm sorry for sleeping on your couch. As this woman is looking at this innocence of mine, when she's looking, glaring into my eyes, she then calms down. And then is like, who are you? What's your name? I'm like, Karabo. Karabo, with a sweet little teenage voice, And she's like, that means you're so pretty, right? How old are you? I'm like, I'm 18. She's like, Ukena skolo. I'm like, yes. Do you go to school? Yes, I'm in high school. We you keep yourself well, Yeah, she starts having this conversation with me where she's calming down. She's taking a liking to me, even though she doesn't know me, okay? And I think maybe she took a liking to the fact that I was very humble in receiving her rebukes and what have you. And then she starts to talk about how it is that, hey, Ukarabo, mina ngimfunela Ujomo. Let's say his name was Jomo. She was like, who Karabo? I want Karabo for Jomo. I want Karabo for Jomo. She starts talking about how she wants Karabo for Jomo. She wants Karabo for Jomo. She wants Karabo for Jomo. She wants to now hook me up with her son. I feel like you would be really great for my son. You would be really great for my son. Yeah, Karabo, I like you. I want you to date my son. Okay? And then the brother of Jomo, who was dating my friend, right? Our friend. Yeah. Then comes on some, hi mama. Hi mama. Ungazoyenza omunye umntana ukuthi ayojwana noJomo, uyamazi ukuthi uJomo unjani. First of all, weekends, and on top of that, ubhizi nabo cherry la emgaqweni, and uthanda nokushaya abo cherry. Okay, so what that means is, hi mom, you cannot try and hook this little girl up with that dude. Jomo is not the right dude. He is a gangster first and foremost. And secondly, he's always got a whole bunch of girlfriends, and every so often he beats them up. You cannot make this little innocent 18-year-old girl date our brother. And futhi umdala too much ginaye. I think he was like 28 or something. Jomo was like a 28-year-old dude, and this mother thoroughly imagined that I was a good fit for him at the age of 18 in all of my innocence. Do you understand what I'm saying? She wanted to hook me up with her son to calm him down. And his own younger brother, who was older, however, than me, was like, no, mom, you cannot connect this chick with that dude, because we know our brother. Okay, we know that dude is a gangster that beats up his girlfriends, and he's got a whole bunch of them. Top of that, he's too old for this like 18-year-old girl. Yeah, the guy was the voice of reason there. I also was not about to go and date some Jomo dude, okay, that I was being hooked up with. But basically what I'm trying to get at with that story is that moms, when they spot something that they like in a woman, they will always want to hook that woman up with their son. And it will not matter what a heinous beast the son might be. It will not matter how incontinent, how uncharacteristic of her needs he is. It will not matter this guy. It won't matter. Proper. The son could be a serial killer. And if the mom finds an innocent, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed girl with wide eyes that looks like she's never been touched by a feather, the way she's so innocent, she will literally try to hook her up with him. That's just the nature of moms. They have got their sons' backs so much that they don't care about the lives of the daughters of other men and women. They don't care about the well-being of the girl when that girl gets with their son, because they just like her for their son. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's just the way that it is. And I am trying to put it out there, South African women, that you need to stop hooking up abo Jomo benu, nabo Karabo, baba yabantwana, baba yabo mama nabo baba. You need to stop hooking up your Jomos with Karabos. You need to stop hooking bad men up with good girls. I've got like a whole bunch of women right now that are standing back doing nothing about my particular case, not even trying to support a sister, because they hope secretly in their jealousy that I will settle for one of these Korobela monsters. I am a woman that is above reproach. I am a Proverbs 31 woman. Many women have done excellently. She surpasses them all by mere virtue of fearing the Lord. I am a Christian. I am consecrated. I've been celibate for 13 years. All I do is the work of the Lord. I am what many would call a good girl. And you are trying to get me to marry an occult practitioner. You are trying to make me Ujomo. That's much too old for me. That has slept with prostitutes and is messing with all the girls in the Gasi, and every so often he beats them up for getting out of line. You want me to be with men that diabolical, men who human sacrifice, men who have acquired their wealth through satanic means, men who partake in sex rituals in the occult when I have been celibate for 13 years. And you want me to go and lay with a man that has gay sex in a demonic cult in order to acquire wealth, even though he is heterosexual apart from the occult. You want me to lay with men that have partaken in orgies in the spirit of wealth acquisition, in demonic rituals. You want me to accept the proposal of HIV positive men when I've been celibate for 13 years waiting on Christ for a husband. You want me to be with Jomo. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is what is going on in this country. You've lost your minds. You want me to, as a consecrated, blood-bought, born-again child of the living God, acquainted with spiritual war. So therefore, I am known by the kingdom of darkness, by entities therein. You want a woman that spirit-filled, that anointed, and that prayerful to be in the same house with a man that belongs to the kingdom of darkness. Will I not be murdered? Will I not? Will his demons not come at me while I sleep in our bed at night? A kingdom divided cannot stand. An unequal yoking between Christians and unbelievers does not work, especially when the Christian is super consecrated and prayerful and the unbeliever is involved in the occult. Diametric opposition. We are speaking human sacrifice of my pregnancies, maybe even of born children. We are talking murder-suicide because the man cannot handle the Holy Spirit in me. You are putting me in harm's way. I cannot be with a man in the occult, first and foremost because they suck. Why are you doing witchcraft? But more than anything, precisely because I am as feverish a Christian as I am. Christian at all, but especially because I'm as feverish as I am for Jesus. He wouldn't even last a conversation on the phone without manifesting demons, especially if I'm in a fast. Much less me walking all the way down the aisle to him. But you see, the thing is, you're creating so much attrition around my life, so much pressure. You are creating so much hardship around my life that I will then, in the spirit of a lot of fear, that nothing is coming through for me and my life totally sucks, that I will take him. That I will take a man that could totally butcher me to death because I don't have money, because I'm suffering, because I'm 39 turning 40, going absolutely nowhere, doing nothing. You have set me up for failure too. Never mind end up with a bad man, but just in a casket altogether. You are literally throwing me to sharks, women, because Ningfuna no Jomo. Because Jomo is your brother. Jomo is your son. Jomo's your nephew. Jomo is your colleague, and you think he needs a good girl in order for him to get his life together. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be there to patch Humpty Dumpty back together again. It is not my job to be putting a man back together with sticky tape. Dream on. I tried once in the past. It failed abysmally. Akusebenzi. When women try to panel beat men into shape, I'll fix them. I'll change them. No. Date in your league. Marry in your league. If a man is not ready for marriage, he's not your husband. Stop trying to make him ready. Stop trying to patchwork some males. Then again, as a 39-year-old woman speaking these things, I am very triggering, I get it, to women who have already made these mistakes, who have walked down the aisles to their Ike Turners. Well, I'm not doing it. I gave my life to God, and he has protected me. Do you understand what I'm saying? From ending up no Ike Turner, but you must understand that Ike Turner's mama, my oh my, how it is that he wants me, how it is that she wants me with her son. Women are trying to hook me up with occult practitioners. I've been dating guys in my history prior to me coming to Christ. I've been dating guys that came recommended highly by women that literally drove knives into my back. The same ex-boyfriend came highly recommended by a cousin that now today is the biggest enemy of my person. She is my mortal enemy. I'm awakened now. I'm alert now. My eyes are popped open. The Lord removed the scales from my eyes. So I no longer date because some chick is like, oh, he's cute. No, he's really great. I like his personality. He's got swagger. Yeah. What I respond to that by saying is, that boy looks so good, but his mind is not ready. So here we go, yo. No, thank you. I'm not about to be with a devil-worshipping rando. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they want me because they are going to send themselves to the abyss, given that they're afflicting a Christian woman. Ikorobela. The way in Shanga on a daily basis, I can't breathe. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because ke lateletse morago ke bana bang patlang kang kane ba loyang anare o tlo dila jwang ka nna ke fasta a butuna le demons di ngata ga kana in your body. You will manifest, boy, and manifestation ya komanje is going to mean celepe in my neck. It's going to mean mpama most fatlhong anyo deal mina ne attitude yendoda etwele. I can't. Angeke akusebe situation yakhona ayisebenzi. It doesn't work. Like angeke ukuhlangane guys. It doesn't work. My ex-boyfriend is too severely involved in the occult to so much as write out a conversation with me. Never mind lay in the same bed. It's not like old times. He would become aggressive. Do you understand? Because he's involved in dark arts. Not only that, or divorce. For years, until I couldn't breathe. We had enmity with each other. However, I am working very, very, very hard to try and get him in the kingdom of heaven, and it appears to no avail. Why? Because his family members helped him along. So sorry that they all like proper. I got bewitched by some of his family members to get back together with him, and some of mine. My own family members helped him along. Agenda thing. They supported a man that I left, and I told them my reasons, and they were like, no, but you guys look good together. What? Women that helped a man that now today is trying to finish me off. And in trying to finish me off, I'm trying to save him, to make him realize, Uguti, your mom threw you under the bus, bugger. Your sister threw you under the bus, bugger. Your cousins threw you under the bus, bugger. And my own family, underneath the bus, but just as ride or die as I've always been. I'm trying to salvage you for heaven at least, boy. That's the least I can do for you. We can never be together again, but I'm trying to make sure you don't go to hell. Still to this day, I'm the only person truly looking out for you. Still to this day. But you are out here Humpty Dumpty, thoroughly trying to be with a woman that it is impossible to be with. It is impossible to be with her. Stop listening to rubbish like Katwin. All of these friends of yours that ill-advised you until you lost your girl. Move on. Proper. Save your soul. If you don't want to, as in, labantu bagini mabakhalela, they must understand ukuthi yibo abakubulele. Your family members that will be crying when you pass away, they will have killed you. They will have put you in the ground. They will have been the ones to help you, Jomo, get a woman that doesn't make sense for you. And now that the woman woke up to realize it, Wahamba went and did what she needed to do, now that God killed you for trying to ugumpesua, the Romeo and Juliet style, now that you're burning in hell, now that you're in the eternal lake of fire, now that you're in the abyss where the worm dieth not, bayakhala, crocodile tears, they will have killed you. If this thing ends up killing you, which it inevitably will, because at this rate, it's you are high on it. The fumes, the methylated spirits, they're up your nose. If this thing kills you because of how high and drunk you are on your pursuit of me and your insistence on Romeo and Juliet, abantu bagini, they ought scoop their tears ka teaspoon and throw them away because they have no right to cry. Ever. Your sister will have killed you. Your mom will have killed you. Your cousin, some female, will have killed you. The whole man cave that badly counseled you where I was concerned, because I am the only one that's actually truly trying to save impilo yakho still to this day. Only one. Only person. Okuzamela eternal life. Jomo do legenza legatangu tumpadi cherry. I'm the only one that's still out here looking out for you. Kodwa, you and I lebala khohlwa. For what? For who? Kitla khoyetsang na. Otswapugile opokate agele abuti. Stop trying to come into impilo yam first and foremost, and secondly, stop trying to end me so you can end yourself. Just get saved. Khale ke khozama. Khale. Ha o ka tlhokafala. Batho ba ko heno are to blame wankutlo. They are to blame. Ke khozamme. Bakusizile. Recently, ntse ba go thusa. The only reason I'm even raising them, these women, is because recently I've been afflicted by one of your family members, by Caesar, to finish yourself off. Ngabo Jezebel bonke babahlangene bo Delilah, and they are leading Samson to his demise. Ke khathetse kubua lwena le ka wena obuti ontso tawe ka shibuku. If you wanna die hamba, kodwa I will have been the only one okuthandeng empela. Enough to try and snatch you even from the flames of hell. If you go there anyway, abantu bagini are dastardly and hypocritical to mourn you at your funeral. Do not say I did not warn you. As for the rest of the South Africa, le support yenu for amadoda enu abolile, your support, the rottenness in the bones of men that you are, your positive reinforcement to continue to proliferate evil behavior in men when you are rather supposed to be rebuking them for what they are doing, correcting them, saying, really, like the way that this guy reviled my name to his family when we were out here brawling with each other. The family ought to have been like, but Karabo's not like that. You are lying. Instead, they stood with him. Persecution of Christians at like an astronomical level, to a point where you are going to disregard character yomuntu yonke because umuntu gave her life over to Jesus Christ. Bam believer, bazi ukuthi lo muntu irresponsible, and now Namhlanje he's trying to reinvest himself in the life of a woman that he can't have again, ever. Like, it's just so destroyed. This bridge is so burned. I don't know why he keeps rebuilding it. Trying to. Angas, it's like Jumanji, like the jungle has come to the earth now. I don't know what's happening with this dude. He's thinking in a reverse way. Guys, I mean, how am I going to face his family members ever again if I were to accommodate him, for crying out loud? All that persecution I endured. The Lord will not allow us to be put to shame when brought to trial. He will never allow us to be put to shame when brought to trial. I get what by the prospect of getting back together with somebody. Do you understand? That I rightly left years ago. That, however, unfortunately was kept with me in heart and in spirit by Abantu Bagibo. He needs to get right with God or die. That's literally what's going on here. Repent or perish. If he doesn't want to repent, I tried. He knows he messed up. What is important is for him to repent. If he doesn't want to, Abantu Bagibo cannot successfully cry at his funeral without taking blame, recognizing that Ikazla Ke is on their hands. His blood will be on their hands. These women you are killing, sending them to eternity apart from God. Men that you approve in their wickedness. The epidemic of sorcery in South Africa by everybody, men and women alike, especially men abatwalayo, is influenced even by abafazi. You approve of their sorcery. You congratulate them and then you protect them when people bring them to trial. You stand with them no matter what. And then they destroy your daughters. Look at what approval, rubbish nonsense. Makutumena, what's her name? Nandipa. Like that Chigwa Tabo Besta. That's what's good. Look at how it is that her family approved. Die rubbish. A man that raped and killed women. And they're out here approving her for Jomo. Now she's going to prison. That's what happens when a woman's family, when females, males, everybody around approve a bad guy for a woman. She becomes a doctor that ends up with a freaking life term. Spending her life in jail. Because you happily approved a wicked man for an otherwise sober woman. It's just killing the country. I can't say that enough. Ambani, continue to create abonandi pabenu, but understand that these men abotabo besta benu, bazoshona. You are sending your own brothers to hell. The only way that besta dude would repent is if everybody started to rightly deride him. If they started to rightly rebuke him. If they made it clear that Ntomi it's like a rubbish boy. It's nonsense. Maybe in a contrite, forlorn spirit, he might realize but whenever Tabo is being patted on the back, out here having amalobola wake received by Uba Baganandipa. What the heck? What are the odds that anything is going to give the Hashem? You are destroying the country. Is that basic? You keep on supporting them. You congratulate and you applaud them. You shamefully cower after your son has killed some chick and now it's trending on Twitter. Hashtag my next. Hashtag GBV. Hashtag my next. Hashtag GBV. Shut up. You are contributing to the mutiny against women in the country by insisting they date badly because you are so competitive. And on top of that, you are out here trying to have the back of your sons at the expense of better women than these men. Just do better. Proper. It's that basic. I am signing out in the name of Christ. I've spoken too much. Peace.